Hello, Internet. Welcome to the second objective we've got a little demo of. So, I am Chris Allen, once again joined by the holy ranker of men, Tim Hilton,
Howdy, everybody.
and Dion. What's happening? The Gold Squadron.
That's right. Cheat on my stream. Don't do that.
Are
Just
you
kidding.
are you
Keep
going to
going.
try to stream this tournament? Is it happening?
I'm gonna try. I don't know if I have internet access. So
Gotcha.
We'll at least record it though.
Okay, cool. So we're going straight into the setup of Objective 7, which is the most confusing one. So we wanted to make sure we got a video of it so people knew what was going on. So this is the one which requires an epic ship. Well, it doesn't require an epic ship. We'll get to it. But if one player brings an epic ship, you're using an epic ship as the objective. So the setup rules for this are the person with initiative both chooses if both players bring their epic ship. The player with initiative takes theirs and puts it outside of range 4 of player board edges and outside of range 1 of the sides. So there's on the objective sheet, there's a nice little map to show you what that looks like. But we made a little demonstration here just so you can see what it looks like in person. It's about like that. The 4 straight's a little long. I think I'll slide it back in a second. And I would like to note that I said right before we started recording, hey Matt, this is for the stream, we don't really care about winning and losing. It's just it should be pretty easy to watch and everything. So let's make sure we get everything situated in such a way that's like pleasurable to look at. And check out what he does with this thing. I was so proud. Well, when he places it, there he is. But anyways, so
Straight to the
there
side.
it is. Yeah,
Of
straight
course.
to the end, baby. Which is actually a good strategy for his list, right? Because he wants as much space with dash as he can.
But why does he want that, Chris? What is the objective here?
So, oh god, the objective here
The
is
transition was strong.
yes, very strong. So that ship, much like the shuttle you saw earlier, at the end of the end phase, if you're the only player within range 1 of it, you control it. But it doesn't move. It's not going anywhere. It shoots. So it's going to shoot single turbo lasers out the front. And if you haven't played Epic, that's 4 attack dice, range 3 to 5. So basically, if it has you in arc, it's going to shoot you if you're not too close to it.
Not anymore. It's facing the board edge.
Well, because don't forget the CR90 has the 90 degrees on each side.
Fair. Touche. You're right. I'm forgetting my epic rules.
Yep. So the front shoots that range 3. If that were a raider, he'd be safe from it, but he's not now. Or I'm not now either. So single turbo lasers are 4 attack, range 3 to 5. Defender doubles their agility value. And when you're attacking with it, you can change a focus to a hit. So it's kind of like a Shirano effect or whatever. Out of the back, it shoots both. You don't have to pick one. You get the best of both worlds. Out of the back, you get ion cannon batteries, which are super savage. They're 4 attack, range 2 to 3. If the attack hits, the defender suffers a critical damage and an ion token, and cancels all dice results.
Nice.
So in testing this, we had some really interesting scenarios come up. Like Miranda was running away from some ties and was in a situation where she had been Ion the turn before, but it was worth it because, it's a damage on Miranda, who cares? But that meant she was getting Ioned again next turn with like a giant wall of TIE fighters facing her. So it was better for her to slam onto a rock at a 1-speed maneuver than it was for her to not. Because the objective was that impactful. And actually, we try to have the objective not be that impactful. Like, the goal is that it just makes you fight each other, if that makes sense. Like, you both keep each other honest with the objective. And it doesn't have too much effect on the actual outcome of the game. So there's not too much state to track. There isn't too much going on. It's just, you have to come fight me or I'm going to take this objective and win in a couple turns.
Right. So I was just watching the setup here, and I noticed that you had to measure range 1 from the objective for putting out debris or asteroids. So does it count as debris, or does it count as debris?
Well, its epic ships are, they have the same epic rules as normal. So if you hit it, you're going to roll a die. If it moved, it would run you over, but it can't move, thank God. So yeah, it's just if your template overlaps it, you roll it just like an asteroid. Once again, we were setting things up. Like, we wanted to see how cluttered the board would be if we made it as cluttered as possible. But it didn't actually end up too bad. As you can see, this is a 4 obstacle objective, so 2 obstacles each player. So actually, there's plenty of room all over the board. So once again, for the ease of viewers, you can see my decimator. It's the same list as the last one, but if you missed it, it's a Lone Wolf Dash, a very tanky Wolfie, the Pilot Skill 7 Ozatuck Cruiser on the left side, against a Patrol Leader with Vader Crew, the Inquisitor, and Omega Leader on the right. So you can see Matt is terrified of the ion cannon, so he's trying to get there as fast as he can, the way he's deployed.
That's the right move.
Yep, because that it is devastating to have your small ship ionized. It is so bad.
I can imagine.
So I mean, really, this objective of all the objectives tends to be the one people like the most, which is interesting. I think a lot of it is just, man, epic ships are cool. I wish we saw these on the table more.
And knife fighting is fun.
Yeah, and
Are we still keeping the rule where in 3 obstacle objectives you could swap it out for an epic ship if you want?
I don't think so. I was
Okay.
able to make some pretty stupid board configurations if both players brought one. Like with the shuttle, you could like make walls where the shuttle couldn't escape and get to either player's starting area. So it's probably better to just not. As much fun as it was.
Okay.
Because in like the little T-bone intersection you could set up so the shuttle couldn't make it out of the deployment area was hilarious.
Makes sense.
Oh yeah, and while we're watching the first couple moves, the deployment rules for this, like we talked about, are the player with initiative places their epic ship with any orientation beyond range 4 of either player's deployment zone and beyond range 1 of any board edge. If they did not bring an epic ship, their opponent instead places their epic ship with the same rules. If neither player brings an epic ship, you're just playing a standard 100-point dogfight. So there's no requirement to bring an epic ship. You slightly disadvantage yourself because your opponent gets to choose the epic ship of their choice, but it's 1 out of 7 games, and I don't expect it to be too impactful as to who gets their choice of epic ship. And that way we don't have to worry about people not owning epic ships, because while they're super cool and we love seeing them on the board, we don't want to force everyone to go buy an epic ship just for our side format.
Right. So when I played Warhammer, we did objectives a lot. Every single tournament had an objective structure and it was unique. So, for example, some of them would have what were called large monsters, and they would use a specific base size. Mm-hmm. What they would do for missions like that is the tournament would provide bases that fit that model, so that you could put them on there and use them if you didn't have it one yourself, because this was with Games Workshop, obviously, which meant that those models were $50-$60 models by themselves.
Every ship costs an epic ship if you're playing Warhammer.
Yeah, it's an expensive ass thing. So that's also something you can look at with your tournament organizers, is having them provide cardboard cutouts or something else like that.
Yeah, you could just print a bunch of epic ship bases and just tape them down to the board or whatever you'd want to do.
Or just go on eBay and buy them, because in the end, a lot of people sold them off because all they bought them for was C-3PO or Advanced Targeting Computer or PALP or whatever else.
Palpatine, Yep. Or Sakatro, he's helping, and Wampa.
Totes.
Callus. It's actually all sorts of stuff that came with epic ships, huh?
And Uldra. There you go.
So here you can see what you don't want to happen. Matt was kind enough to demonstrate on purpose what not to do.
Totes on purpose or on purpose?
Like, actually on purpose. He was like, all right, I want to see how bad the objective is if I just let it happen. I was like, okay, this will be very useful. So for most of the objectives, other than this one, letting your opponent have the objective for a turn or two is okay if it means you get better board position. Don't go in single-mindedly to get the objective. This objective is worth sacrificing some things to make sure your opponent doesn't get it. Observe what happens to Dash. There's 4 hits from a single turbo laser, to which Dash doubles his agility, gets 2 evades. Okay? 2 shields gone, right off first thing. And then, which is actually, not a huge sacrifice for better board position. A couple shields, whatever. Now he's within range 2 of that ion cannon, though. Which I can't read my dice, but it hits him. Yeah, it does a critical damage, which is a shield, so nothing too nothing too bad there. He's not going to take multiple damage for it, but he's going to eat the Ion token on his Ozatuk, which is super not what he wants to happen there. Because now Dash has really hard movement choices to make. He's got to turn into range 1 of that Decimator, which is hiding on the other side of the CR90 up there.
And the fact that you have to put it range 1 from the edge gives you space to be able to go in front of that.
Right. Yeah, you can
epic
always
ship.
fit a large base ship or 2 small base ships, like in formation, like straight down the board edge in front of it. Mm-hmm. So that was why, if you saw earlier, I set up my Decimator and then I double checked the spacing on the CR90 because it looked close. It's like, oh, I need to fit this. Let's make sure this is legally put down. But
I feel like putting engine on big ships is going to be pretty important with these going forward.
And well, what's really interesting is barrel roll's almost better.
Because you can adjust it more.
Yeah, so you can look at what you're like Dengar, for instance. You can look at where your opponent goes, and then barrel roll in or out of the objective as necessary.
You bumped the objective cheater. Jeez.
Judge. And the epic ship is so epic that my Decimator on its peg no longer fits, so he's chilling up there. So you can see there's the Ion, which means he's outside of range 1 of the objective again, which means Dash has to do horrible, terrible things he doesn't want to do here. So he does have Kanan crew, so he clears the stress even though he's Ioned, which is cute. I really liked it. And I think he's just going to token stack up again here and try to get that objective and keep it. But he's kind of facing the wrong direction.
Yeah, I think vector thrusters on his Wolferoo would have been a much better call than targeting computer for given the objective.
Yeah. Yeah, given this objective. I don't know if it's better on average for every objective, which is kind of one of the interesting things. It's like, well, this is better if I'm going to be able to joust my opponent every game, like targeting computer like he's got. Is it better on average for objective games? It's hard to know without a lot of testing.
It's true.
It's gonna be interesting to see what meta comes out of this. If how wide open it becomes, because right now, I'm not even sure if I were to play tomorrow what I would bring him. And there's so many options.
Playing weird stuff. It's great. It's like from a playtesting point of view, we've been running these for about a month and a half locally in our as our league that we give prizes out and everything for. So people have a incentive to bring stuff that they think is going to be good at it. People bring some weird stuff. Like one of the more successful lists we saw is like Oiken with 2 aggressors, which it's seen some success in like the standard deathmatch game, but it bleeds MOV so hard that it has trouble making cuts. But in this, like whatever, just kill everything, it's fine, or kill enough stuff.
Oiken I can see being very good in this format.
Yep.
Oh man, Boshek. Wait a second.
There's a reason I've been ranting about Boshek and no one cares for so long.
Right. Man, that is that guy. Paul and your ideas.
Paul! Damn it, Paul. No, that's Intel Agent is really good as you would expect, but it's actually not as good as it is in a standard game.
Oh my god, hold down your ship base.
No, you can't make me. There's a camera in the way. I got things to do. And it's way easier to cheat with Imperial Aces if you don't, so I'm not going to.
It's true.
Star Viper might actually have a home in this format.
Oh, now you're trying to sell us too hard here, Dion. Actually, Flippy Star Viper guy might be pretty good at this.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the one that can just do whatever, put him wherever you want.
Yeah, like Guri's is pretty good. Like people have seen success with Guri, but I don't think anyone's surprised by Guri being decent.
That barrel roll alone, the funky one, just gives you so many different options.
It lets you kind of get through these mazes of rocks you can put around the objective. You saw us with the shuttle. We just shoved rocks into the only convenient ways to get to the thing. But if you can roll up with your Star Viper, get it a weird angle with advanced sensors, you can stay around it forever. Nobody can stop you.
No, you can just kind of camp it, do a nice circle.
Yep. And speaking of camping, one of the scary things for these objectives that don't move is, we all have the same response. Okay, time to play 3x7 defenders, right? And just 4K over the objective for days. It's actually less effective than you would think because they're very easy to arc dodge, and arc dodgers are back, and arc dodgers don't have to kill the defenders to win the game. They just have to get the objective. So those defenders that are K-turning every turn are either getting shot or getting shot and getting points, or not getting shot, not shooting, and losing the objective. Like Cornhorn kind of has the same thing, where he can't afford to stay in a fight long enough to contest an objective. You know, he does the standard boom and zoom and go regen 3 shields and come back. But
Same thing with Miranda, I would expect.
yep, exactly. Like she'll come in, she'll cluster mine somebody off the board, and then she's got to leave for a few turns, and that few turns is all it takes. Oh no, camera! Did the video lock up for you guys?
It did
Yeah.
for me too.
Oh, we're back. Judge?
Yeah, it's going.
Don't worry, I'll
There it
edit it
is.
out, I promise. Okay, so you can see, some damage is exchanged, whatever. Not super... Again, we don't really care about the specifics of the game state, like, how much health everything has. It's really just to want to demonstrate the why ships are moving where they are. And that's the goal here, is to make ship movement and decision-making matter a lot more. So anybody that's familiar with Imperial Assault will see that we lifted most of the tournament rules and everything from them, because frankly, they work really well.
Mm-hmm. Unless you put out some Ugnaughts.
Oh, God. FFG, where's my FAQ?
Any fact would be spectacular at this point. I'll take Imperial Assault's fact. That'd be fine.
Oh, man. The patrol leader, Vader Decimator, coming in to ruin everybody's day. PS3 with Vader crew. Who thought that would be good? This guy. Burn it all to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing that feels better than Vadering shields.
Oh, man.
Travis would be proud. So here you can see, once again, we've got our 2-ship list that had to run and hurry to the objective because Wolfaro couldn't get there fast enough, frankly. And Dash had to go cover for him, but now Dash doesn't get Lone Wolf, and Dash has to stay at range 1 of something, which is exactly where Dash doesn't want to be.
I mean, you're completely the Dash and Wolfaro is completely surrounded. You got Inquisitor is coming up the rear. You got Omega Leader on the side, and the what is it? It's a patrol leader, right?
Yeah, it's a patrol
He's just gonna come in here and just take up a bunch of space.
Yep, just gonna go block Dash and make his life suck.
Mm-hmm.
And the Inquisitor's not gonna come from behind. He's gonna come up the ventilation shaft. Dion. This is Star Wars.
Sorry.
So actually, spoilers. I don't remember the epic ship shooting again. It might have, but that's kind of an ongoing thing that we want. Like if the objective doesn't do anything, but it changes the state of the game, like it changes your decision making, then we're happy with what happened. If that makes sense. So we're not trying to make you win or lose the game, because look at this sweet ion cannon battery shot I got off that ioned this guy that changed the state of the game. It's a look at this good engagement I got because my opponent was afraid of me getting that ion cannon battery shot off, for instance. Tim, our timestamp is 1810 right now, if that helps.
There's block.
I guessed exactly right.
Nice. Yep.
Wow.
Desi gets the block. Dash is sad. But Dash gets blocked range 1 of the objective, so he's at least helping. I mean, Wolfie here is going to be range 1 of it as well, but
and he's not ioned this turn because I'm guessing that. Ooh. But is he going to hit it?
I mean, I think we just let it happen. Who cares? It's fine.
Just let him
It was
do
all
whatever
for
he wants.
example.
Yeah, like whatever. It's more interesting if he clears it, so let's clear it.
Oh, I don't know. It would demonstrate what happens if you run into the objective. This is supposed to be an educational video.
That's fair. He would roll a die, and on a hit or a crit, he would suffer a
There you
damage. Because
Now, when you go through, but not land on the epic ship, it doesn't do anything, right?
No, epic ships, if your template overlaps them, you roll just like you would a rock.
Okay.
I should put those rules on the sheet because very few people have played Epic, I'm finding out. Should probably just put all of the Epic ship rules in there, though that's really the only one that matters for us is fore and aft firing arcs and what happens. Speaking of, here's how much we care about precise game state. You ready for this? Good enough. camera in the way. We got things to do.
Oh my god, this is hurting my heart to watch.
It's a loose tutorial. Loose.
Yes.
Right. Don't actually watch this to learn how to play X-Wing.
Yeah, no, don't play like this.
Whatsoever.
Just lob your
None of
templates
these
at your
things.
opponent. It'll be great. So here you can see the mash on dash. Ooh, accidental rhyming. Well, Pharaoh will get his few free turns of, objective camping here because he can keep turning around this thing, and the aces are just going to kind of have to deal with it. But, he's only got the front arc, so he's not going to be able to get shots in, and eventually he'll lose at time. So Dash has got to find a solution to these problems. Raying out of focus will help, but it's not a solution to these problems.
Inquisitor's range 1.
He is. Actual range 1. Getting dice thrown at me. Doing damage to Dash, baby. Previously thought impossible.
Oh, he's at half. Wait, it doesn't matter
It
yet.
does not matter.
No half points on large base ships in this format, people.
Yes. Repeat it again. No half points on large base ships. I guess we should give the justification again, just in case people are watching only this video for some reason. Half points on large base ships is to punish you for running away, but the formats we've made already punish you for running away, and it makes the game state very complicated to track when you are trying to track half points and then add objective points and then sum that to 100. And then if 2 large base ships are left and then like one of them half points and then suddenly the game ends, it feels really bad. Like we had a couple like a Decimator against a Falcon at the end of the game, and then the Decimator shot at pilot skill 10 into Han and did a damage, and then the game ended. When both were next to a objective. Like, well, that was kind of silly.
Because the games end at exactly 100. When
Yes.
somebody has 100, it doesn't play out the rest of the turn.
Yep. Yeah, the only time it wouldn't end immediately is if there's simultaneous fire involved. Then things can get complicated, but not super complicated. Basically, you roll out everything at that pilot skill that still gets to shoot, and then whoever has more points wins. And then if both players have the same amount of points, I believe it's initiative, but it's never actually happened. It's written down. I should check. Yes, if these are equal, the player with initiative is the winner.
So no final salvo in this format.
No final salvo.
Thank God.
As much fun as rolling 11 dice is in fortressing all game. I say that unironically. I love it. But no final salvo. Also, there's about to be some serious next level mind games. This is a bad example of next level mind games because this game was a joke. But we've had a couple of scenarios where it was the right decision for a ship to put itself in a scenario where it can't do anything but fly off the board next turn so that it could camp an objective for an extra turn. Just some
I can see that.
some really weird edge case stuff that can go down.
Because if you can prevent your opponent from being able to take those points because you are also there,
Yep. Then it's
and
worth
you can
losing.
give
your
yourself an
TIE
extra
fighter.
turn to get in position.
Yep. Usually not worth it with Dash, pro tip.
He is a bit expensive
It's a little pricey.
to fly off the board. Yep.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, like, what's the average point cost of ships in this format? Are we going to see mostly 3 or 4 ship builds?
Yeah, we talked about that before you hopped on the last video, and we were both saying, that's one of the things that I'm looking forward to the most is I don't like the 2-ship meta, even though I fly it on occasion. I'd much rather have 3, 4, 5 ships on the board, and I think that this format really lends itself to that.
Yeah, the average that we've got in, I don't know, we're probably like 50, 60 games into testing. The average we've got is about 3.5. Not counting everyone's first game where they grab their standard meta 2-ship list and get absolutely crushed. Like, just destroyed. And they're like, oh, this is actually a bad idea. I should play more than 2 ships.
I think I might T70 bro it up for the first one.
I lost the list I'm playing right there. I lost one of the other objectives we haven't talked about against 4XZ, right? Like, it was like I was in a situation where we both had scored 50 points from the objective, and he killed my decimator. So if he killed any of my aces, he won, and he won at time. So I had to kill an X-wing before time ended, but I couldn't because sometimes X-wings are like hard to kill, especially when they're flanked and you have to like spend all your actions to try to get behind them. So we eventually just caught an ace with 3 X-wings, right? Which is not a thing that happens in a standard game, which I thought was really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so sloppy, Judge.
Yeah.
Just put him wherever you want, Matt.
Close enough.
But not there. He's super not going to clear that maneuver. There you go. We got
He
it.
tried in good faith.
Yes.
Mhm.
I do want to note that this little mosh pit of ships that all bumped each other is not normal. This is specifically what happens when you try to play dash and camp the objective with dash, because everybody wants to be range one of them or not shoot. Usually what we see is there's a little bumping, like not like the 8 tie swarm versus 8 tie swarm days, but like, you'll have your little chump, like you guys mentioned, the auto thrusters prototype pilot. There will be a couple of those rammed into each other with other things running into them, and then like beefier ships hiding up behind them. So like your Poes, your like X7 defenders, etc.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I honestly can't wait to whip out my some proto A-wings or Green Squad A-wings just to sort of circle around the objective and maybe put some snapshot out there.
Oh god, I was gonna say, Ricky would be so happy. Snapshot A-wings are actually good at this, like unironically good at this.
Oh man, he's gonna be so excited, so excited.
When you tell your opponent, all right, you can get to the objective, but you're gonna get shot a whole bunch twice to do it. It's a little scary. Oh, it wasn't last turn where Matt showed us the sacrificial dash. It must be this turn. God, I still just love the immediate put the epic ship in the hardest place to see it. It was fantastic. I was so proud at setup. It's like, yeah, I got you. Check it out. All the way off the board. But yeah, it's kind of weird because he's got the dash to do damage and he's got the Wolfero to camp the objective. But as you can see, it's hard to take one ship and camp an objective with it because ships have momentum and objectives don't necessarily. So sometimes it can be better. Like if you remember the dash and 2Bs, like the dash and 2Bs is better than dash Wolfie here, even though, you would think like, oh, let me take this ship with reinforce and a bunch of other stuff and like camp the objective with him. Like I'm building this list for the objective. Like he'd be better off just with chunks of points that shoot things before they die. Just to have the extra.
I see what you
bodies.
mean as sacrificial move here.
Yes, sacrificial dash. He's got range one of it.
All right, gentlemen. Good work, Chris. Thank you for doing this.
It's not
Tim,
hey,
thank you for doing this. I gotta go.
Have a good one.
Yep. Have fun at school tomorrow.
I do want to, even though we lost Dion, this isn't just me. We've got credits and everything to put out, but I got to give a shout out to a whole bunch of people for helping test, for helping design, for giving feedback, for being willing to say like, hey, this is a bad idea, don't do this, which is the hardest kind of feedback to get. So it's always very appreciated. Like, hey, this sucks. Like, this is just straight not fun. Every now, we'd come up with an objective like, this could be cool, and then somebody would play it and be like, this was awful. I hated it.
Which is definitely not what you want.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like,
yeah, we're looking for a way to get people to really re-engage in X-Wing, so.
Yeah. Or just while we're watching things kind of wind down here, I mean, you can see Dash is on fire and Wolfero can't stay on the objective without dying. We did have some funny bloopers when we were making some. I'll just give an example. There was much like the shuttle objective, we had a large base ship that started in the middle and you could dock with, which meant you stopped moving, you lost all your agility, and it was an action, right, to go dock with it. You couldn't shoot, all that good stuff. You got points for as long as you were docked. Until Tyler Barnett rolled up and goes, okay, advanced sensors dock, 3-bank core, and we're like, damn it, Tyler. That doesn't make any sense. He's got core and horn docked on the opposite side of the board from the objective, completely safe from everything. So that objective doesn't exist anymore.
Wow, I mean, God damn it. Tyler.
But no, that's the kind of feedback that you want, right? Like it's hard to we need people to go in there and break things, like find weird rules interactions and stuff. And I think we've caught most of them. That was the most hilarious of all the like bizarro situations that came up. Also, I just want to note that he did the one straight so that he could kill Omega Leader, and so that he could have the objective for a turn, and it's super worked. Like Omega Leader just gets one shot here. It's very sad. Rip in peace.
Oh jeez.
Omega Leader. There it is. The dream, baby. Straight blanks.
Oh man, but it's my favorite thing in the world to watch this because I just love watching a Mega Leader get destroyed in one shot.
Yep. Because I gave it to him. I was like, all right, you got your chance. I'll target lock with Pharaoh. You get one turn. And then he straight did it. He's like, all right, he's dead. Whatever. I don't care. Fine.
You're not crying. I'm crying. Oh, but then Dash is going to fly off the board next turn.
No, it gets better. It gets better. I love casual games. After Will Pharaoh shoots, you ready? Highlighted the entire thing coming up. All right,
This looks strong.
just shoot whatever you want. You're shooting the Inquisitor obstructed with a like full stack of tokens. Who cares?
What could possibly happen?
Like this isn't a real shot. I don't remember why he didn't shoot the Decimator. He had a good reason, but I don't think it was good enough. I'm sure this 3 hits is enough to hit the Inquisitor, range 3 obstructed. Oh no, he changed his mind last second, shot the Decimator. That's right. I was proud.
Makes sense.
Except, Decimator's still alive. You know what's about to happen. We gotta shoot Dash.
Of course.
Yeah, kill him dead.
He doesn't have to fly off the board. Kill him before then.
Nope. Fine, I won't hit you. I'll Vader you. I don't care.
What's the Vader?
What's in the box? Give me the
What is
shaken
it?
pilot. You can't go straight now. I don't even remember. It was something that didn't matter. I mean, none of it could matter, but whatever. But no, so I mean, this game is kind of on the downswing. So I was going to talk about just kind of what some of the other objectives are encouraging. So there's a couple objectives that are the first thing you do is you place an obstacle and you mark it, and it's like a rock that has I put extra munitions tokens on it, but however you want to mark it's fine. And if you have a ship near it and your opponent doesn't, you get points. Very simple. There's one where there's a marked rock, and if you're within range 2 of it, you get points. It's control range 2. Except also everything within range 2 of it is shielded. So if somebody's shooting you from outside the shield, you can just add an evade result, which is kind of fun.
So is that just shooting from the outside in, or
Yeah,
is that
so-
anybody inside, even if you're both inside shooting at each other?
Yeah, so to be very specific, you're right. It's if a ship inside range 1 to 2 of the marked obstacle is defending from an attack, if the attacking ship is beyond range 1 to 2 of the marked obstacle, the defender may add an evade result, which is a really wordy way it needs to be cleaned up. But basically, if you're getting attacked from outside the objective and you're inside it, you can add an evade.
Which is nice.
Yeah, I mean, for those of you that haven't played with Wookiee cruisers yet, adding an evade is crazy.
Yes.
It is
You should do it.
It is a huge blow to like twin laser turret. You just completely neuter a lot of different attacks in the game. So that's like one of the stronger ones we've seen for like those X7 defenders, those strikers, or even actually TLTs when you get them inside it and your opponent's outside it. Like aces can't hurt them all of a sudden, which is very interesting. It's just a little risky to get there because you don't want to be doing donuts around the objective when people are at range 1 of you shooting and you can't shoot back.
I like the cargo carriers one. I like that a lot.
It's that one's one of the more out there ones. I was gonna say I'm just going down them in order. We've got one where there's a large base ship in the middle of the board, much like the shuttle, except it doesn't move. If you control it at the end of the turn, you get 10 points, just like the shuttle, and it shoots, and it's got expertise effectively, and it shoots after everybody else's tokens are stripped. So he hits like a truck. So don't let your opponent have it. But if they do, it's not the end of the world, right? Like you're kind of more concerned about the 10 VP than you are the individual shot, unless it's going to kill something.
Well, we did miss Dash flying off the board.
Yes.
And it looks like Wolferoo is going to take an ion cannon to the rear.
Yes. He likes it. He likes it when I ion cannon him. And we had a little snafu because we're like, oh god, how does reinforce interact with epic ships? So every now and then we find this like weird little thing where I assume there's a rules solution to it in the game, but it's hard to know. So we went with, I mean, just for the game, we're like, well, the whole ship is the ship. So if you've got it, right? Like the front and the aft are the same ship. So if it's in the front arc, it's all the front arc. Sure. Um,
The
I
way,
don't
so
even know
yeah, it
what's an
usually
actual
is
rules
like
reference.
if the front arc at all touches it,
Mhm.
you get that means it's in the front arc.
Right. Yeah, this was the very odd edge case that I expect to happen exactly in this game and never again, where the the front half of the ship was only in the front arc, or the front half of the ship
Oh,
was in the
right,
front
right,
arc, and
right.
the back
I
half
see.
of the ship was in the back arc. So it's like, oh god, now what?
That makes sense. I would say, yeah, the
Yeah, we just gave it to every attack because it's got it in arc.
right.
Yeah, so you mentioned the cargo carriers one. So everything you've seen that we showed is large and epic ship bases, but we've also got some where you have small ship bases as like tokens that move around on the board like ships would. They bump like ships would, except you can't necessarily shoot them. On one of them you can, but basically you're trying to escort these little objects around the map. But it's interesting because they're ship bases, you can also block with them. So sometimes the optimal strategy is to actually fly them at your opponent and just kind of gum up the works and make sure they can't get the dice mods they want or whatever. They can't get the position to get to like say another objective. You can, if you have all four on the one that has four, you can actually use one to block getting to the other three, which is kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that covers the general archetypes of most of the objectives. Like we were saying earlier, it's not about adding new win conditions to the game. It's about just putting a time limit on things and making it a little harder to point fortress, a little harder to like game the tournament format as hard. Because we see a lot of lists in X-Wing are built around hoarding MOV as much as possible, even when it's like not necessarily the best strategy to win the game. It's the best tournament overall meta strategy. So even if you lose one more game because you have really good MOV, you make the cut, which means cut games can be a little weird and one-sided. So here, oh god, you like this barrel rolling without touching the ship base?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know who also does maneuvers like that?
Uh-huh.
My 6-year-old stepson.
Yep. You put an epic ship in his way, and I promise it'll be worse with the camera on the other side. No. I got distracted by my own horribly sloppy maneuvering. Jesus. But no, yeah, I mean, like, basically the idea is to just make it so that the game is
Oh,
not...
you gotta Vader him here. Tell me you Vader him
Of
here.
course. Even if it's pointless, you always Vader him. He's dead, Vader him anyways, right? Like, Vader the negative hull.
Oh, you didn't. What are you doing?
What? No, he gets to shoot. He's checking arc.
Well, you just shot him. Oh, you shot him. That was Inquisitor shooting.
Yeah.
My bad. That is my bad.
Here's the Desi. Roll the one die. But yeah, so basically the goal is to influence what list people play by actively encouraging and discouraging certain lists instead of doing it by accident with MOV, if that makes sense. And also people, I mean, again, a lot of this is like people are like, oh, this is fun because it's new. But a lot of it is people really enjoy mixing it up. So if there's 7 objectives and you play 3 games a week, you're playing a different objective every game for 2 weeks, and you're going to play the same one twice a month, basically. And that's still like 14 games of X-Wing a month. So it takes a very long time for it to get stale. Hopefully it takes a very long time for it to get stale. Locally it has. I don't know. We've been enjoying X-Wing more around, so hopefully that makes it to the rest of the community as well.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, you can always develop more and more objectives.
Yep, that's the nice thing. I mean, we counted to 7, but if it turns out that everyone hates, I don't know, I'm looking at one at random, the shielded sensor, all right, whatever. We don't have to run that objective anymore. Let's get a different one. Let's ask people what they like and make more like that.
Yep.
I'm just double checking for any other weird rules. Not weird, but rules lawyering. No, not really. But objectives. So that was the end of the game. I mean, we could all tell it was over. But more importantly, I just wanted to go over a couple of things just in case they come up. Unless it's specified somewhere else, which right now it's not. It's just future proofing. Objectives don't interact with obstacles in any way. They don't suffer damage from them. They can't get stressed. Like, you just fly over it. It's fine. nothing interesting happens. Objectives are never friendly ships. You can't cover them with bigs. You can't M9G8 them. I don't know why you would. You can't do anything that would, like, you can't Palpatine there, die, anything like that. They're not friendly. They're just there. They can't be assigned conditions, tokens, or be dealt critical damage. If they would suffer critical damage, they take normal damage instead. And that's so you don't have to use damage cards to track damage on them, so we don't break things like Kylo working as a cave mechanic as much as we'd like to break Kylo working as in being good. Controlling objective we talked about, obstacles we talked about, but you bring 3 objectives as part of your list. If the objective doesn't require 3 obstacles, you pick the 2 after you've seen your opponent's list. So you can say, okay, I'm playing against Dash. Cool. Also, hi Jonah. That was a nice little cameo. I'm playing against Dash. Cool. Let me make sure I bring rocks, not debris, etc. And like we also said earlier, the game ends when you hit 100 VP. And VP is the sum of the MOV that you've destroyed as well as any objective points you got. So let's say that Dash is 52 points, I think. If you kill that Dash and you score 50 points of objective, the game is over. Like in the middle of the combat phase, it's just over. Like your pilot skill killed him, he's at 99 points, and you just do 1 more damage, too bad, game's over. And there is no MOV, it's just win-loss. So, yeah. Thanks for watching, everybody. Tim, thank you for taking time out of your day. Come talk to us.
Of course, it was a good time. I enjoyed watching it and learning about the objectives myself. So hopefully everybody really enjoys using them, and look forward to playing them in some tournaments coming up.
Did you have any questions or any shout outs or anything? Or should we close her home, send her home?
Let's send her home. I obviously thank you for putting all this together, and Dion and Ryan and everybody else that has contributed. And it's exciting to see the community coming together to make things like this.
Yeah, I want to stress that this isn't me. This is a lot of people's work. I'm just the loudest right now. So thank you, everybody. You know who you are. We'll get a full list of, hopefully full list of everybody that contributed and tested and everything. Get a nice little thing of credits because you guys have done an awesome job. And I'm really impressed. And thanks for all your help. And if you're watching this for the tournament, good luck. See you guys later.